Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Sunday, and welcome to PowerTime. This is your hostess, Sharon Herbert, coming to you live from Power in Nursing Innovations. So, as we say, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is so good to see you. We're so happy that you took the time to meet with us today. And as usual, we have something sassy, fun, and funny. Maybe. So you're going to have to think about that. What brings you here every Sunday at 5 p.m.? As we say, information is power. Information is power. And that's what we provide for you today. So, as we remember that on Sunday at 5 o'clock, we meet for a little bit. Each of us brings something to the table, and we welcome your questions and comments as well. And if by chance you miss us and you follow up on a replay, please let us know by indicating #replay, and then continue with the sharing and caring because you know that's important to us. So, welcome again, and please make sure you follow us on Power in Nursing Innovations, and you also can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. You'll find a variation, but you'll see my picture and you'll know it's me, the Power RN. So, as we talk today, it's a beautiful spring day here in Maryland, and it makes me think about why we do what we do. And the question of the day is nursing, of course, and what is nursing innovation? Now, do you even know what innovation is? And why am I asking about innovations? That's because it's a part of who we are and what we do. Nurses are so good at thinking, and maybe some of the thinking is dreaming, I'm not sure, but we know and we learn how to fix things. And I remember in nursing school, but we had to learn how to give medications. And the first one, was oral medications. And then the second week in the skills lab, we had to do IM medications. And the students were all looking at each other thinking, I'm not sure how that's going to be done. But as we carried on to the skills lab, we found a station ready for us, and it had several oranges on the top of the platform. And you're wondering, now what is that? Now, if you're going to have to give an intramuscular IM medication, you're going to have all of your items in order for you to proceed with your task. And we found that, we are going to administer those medications into the orange, not into a person. So that's kind of a loose sample of what does innovation mean. It is to make a new something. It is to provide a new something. Plan A was the original, and now Plan B is the innovation. It's a twist or a tweak to a current experience, program, project that lets you continue on with doing the context of the thing without all of the original content. So what does innovation mean for nurses? Now, you can think of probably a time or two when you had to consider how a little tweak or a little twist would help you to get through to the end result. It is to administer the medication, but how are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? And those are the things that we think of. It's a twist to problem solving for sure. It's not exact. It's not an exact science for innovation because this is an original twist or tweak that you'll follow through to see if it allows you to do the thing that you were supposed to be doing. So, nurses are always looking to solve problems and to sometimes transform health and healthcare tasks to complete them. And we know that's because sometimes there are problems within our system that don't allow us to complete the task as originally prescribed. And my favorite one, as I think of the hashtag critical thinking, that will spark your thoughts as well. So how do we fix the thing? How do we fix the thing? For example, and my favorite examples are from COVID. And I can't tell you all of them, but I even remember some from nursing school and for getting your right services completed. What do you do if you don't have all of the items you need? Because nurses are really good at creating and fixing things. So one example of a on-the-ground frontline experience was nurses having to go into the isolation room for COVID patients, and many places had one singular room for one patient, and the patient would need medications. Well, most often you don't have a patient that has one medication. You have a patient that has several during the day. And that means that if you have IV medications, you have to change your attire. You have to change out of that PPE every time you go to give a medication or to do any other service. So you've been trying to figure out how you can do a number of things in concert when you go in that room one time. But that doesn't always work because some things aren't compatible. So even though you gave a medication an hour ago, you have to go get garbed up one more time to go back in this hour and give another medication. So a very creative nurse, a nurse of course, who said, this is a problem because we don't even have enough supplies, and now I have to ungown, unmask, wash up one more time, go back in there one more time, and we're already running out of supplies. How am I going to be able to do this safely and effectively? So, Nurse Nancy, she or he, it doesn't matter if it's a male or a female, created an extra long extension for the IV tubing that could stretch from the IV pump inside of the room to the foyer or outside of the negative area so that an IV medication could be given without going through that whole entire regarbing process. Wow. Now, a doctor wouldn't think of that because it's not a problem for them, and maybe not a respiratory therapist or either any other healthcare provider person or team. They don't need to go in there every 30 minutes. So nurses do those things. Those are innovations. And they solve problems, which, yes, is a problem solving tool. But we want to consider the future of that particular scenario. Does this serve the community, the healthcare community, the healthcare system well? Does it facilitate long-term change that solves long-term problems? These are innovations. And if you really want to know a lot more about innovations, you can probably think of some things you've seen or heard of that have changed over the time that you've been a nurse. And once upon a time, even when I was a baby nurse, as I'll call it, a baby nurse, we had to make our own IV solutions. And we don't do that anymore because the system has changed. The system has changed to promote effective and safe practice for that particular task to be completed. So you'll find there are some things you think about. Yes, you can even think about, tweaks to a recipe. That something that has changed that outcome, but it is still safe and effective, and the recipe or the cake might even taste better. Hey, that's an innovation. So think about those things. And it's not always just a new gizmo or gadget. Some of the creative models are fostered by challenges for today. Maybe safety practices need to be more efficient. As I told you about, creating our own bottles of IV fluid. It's probably safer and more effective to do that in a new and different way. So things change because of challenges. We can't go back to doing it the old way anymore. So those innovations actually affect and drive practice. How does that work for you in your workplace? Can you think of a time when things were different? Technology today is changing a lot of the practice from yesterday. And as a matter of fact, Johnson & Johnson has a nursing innovations program. And there's a lot there. If you go to the Johnson & Johnson site, it's not just baby oil. Now, is it? No. You'll find a lot more about innovations and creativity. And you might even have some thoughts yourself about things that you can see in the future of nursing, or challenges that have been driving you crazy for the last 5 years. You're wondering why nobody ever did or fixed a thing. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you who will bring that problem to the next level. So, we are at the seat of innovation, and artificial intelligence, AI, is coming forward fast. It will change a lot of what we do in nursing, as answers to questions are quicker than ever. It is not the actual doing, it's the actual answer to the question that requires some intervention. So, If you are a dreamer or you love a puzzle, innovation might be just the place for you. And think about how the future of nursing can or will change with AI on the brink of the next year for nursing. Here we're in March, and you will hear a lot more about AI. How does AI's input into responses and answering questions affect the practice, the staffing, the workload, the amount of medications, the amount of sicker patients? Now I'm talking about increasing the workload because folks are getting more diagnoses when they get to their provider's office. They hadn't been there in a good while, and zappo, they have more answers quicker than ever to diagnoses and what medications or what practices or what changes in the person's life can be implemented to help the response, positive response for that patient's outcomes. That's innovation. So, if you have questions about nursing and innovation, as I say, just Google it. Just Google it. That's one of my favorite lines. Just Google it. And you'll find a lot more questions right now for nursing than answers that exist to your questions. But thinking is so important. And how will the increased patient load by sicker patients who are getting diagnosed and admitted to hospitals affect your care, service, and your nursing practice? Whether you are a CNA, nurse's assistant, NP, bedside nurse, it's going to be something that you will want to consider and pay attention to. So let's think more about innovations and what things we can change that can help our care and service be more effective, efficient, and safer. Here we are. It's time for thinking, and dreams are also accepted. Thinking about nurse innovations on this Sunday, and we thank you again for visiting with us. Go to Johnson & Johnson website. You might even find a place for you to put your thoughts into the recipe for nursing innovations. Thank you much, and we will see you soon. We'll see you soon. We might miss you next Sunday. If I am not in the airplane, I will see you on Sunday. I am on my way to Chicago this weekend, and it's all about nursing for you and for the community, for the patients, and the outstanding service, care, and practice that you dispense to your patients. And all in support of those outcomes, the systems are looking for the same thing: best outcomes for the patients. So we love you, and if I ever stop talking about nursing, you all will know that there is something wrong with me. So I'll let you know if I'm not going to be here, but otherwise you'll see me here every Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's all about nursing. We'll see you next time. Bye bye now.